Hi guys, it's Sam. I'm up today with a process video of my Daisy Dori February setup. I'm sorry this is up a little bit late. It's been a bit of a crazy month, and because it's such a short month as well, it feels like it's nearly done. So sorry it's a bit late going up, but I hope you enjoy it anyway. So this is the full process video. I'm also going to be putting up a quick flip through as well as a separate video. So it's up to you if you want to watch the full thing or you just want to watch the quick flip through, whatever you prefer. But I'm starting off this time the same way I always do, just punching holes in the middle and stitching through my dory. So I've just pulled the staples out. I'm not adding anything else in this time. Sometimes I add in vellums and acetates and anything that comes in the kit, and there was a gorgeous like heart acetate in this month's kit. I think it was in the classifieds kit actually, but I'm going to save that and use it I think in my Project Life, which matches the same kit because I've switched over to Cocoa Daisy for that as well. So I'm not adding anything in. So I've actually, whilst the staples are still in, I just put some bulldog clips on the edges, and they're these gorgeous rose gold ones that came in the kit, and I'm just going to use that to hold everything in place. And I'm just pulling, I think it's about 8 lengths of thread, so the thread is 8 times the length of the book, if that makes sense. You'll have seen me do that a second ago. And then I double it over and then thread it through and then double it over and tie a knot in. So I'm actually stitching with 4 pieces of thread. Does that make sense? So I hope you followed that. But yeah, so I just stitch with 4 threads and I just do a straight running stitch, and I use the staple holes at the bottom and the top, and then I just punch 2 more in the middle, which you've just seen me do there. And I just do a really simple, straightforward running stitch straight up the top and back down again. This is just purely my personal preference. You don't have to stitch it at all. By all means, just use the staples. But I absolutely jam-pack these dories. I put so much stuff in there, and photographs, and I do like art journal spreads and scrapbooking spreads and junk journal pages, and I put so much in it that actually the staples start to get a bit loose by the end of the month. So just with trial and error, I found that this works best for me in the way that I use the dory. And I just make sure it's pulled nice and tight. You've kind of got to play around with this because I've done it sometimes and it's been a bit too tight and the book starts to kind of bend a bit. So you can kind of feel it as you're stitching. And sometimes I cut this bit out of the video as well, but I had a few people want to know exactly what I'm doing, so I've left it in. So the video is a little bit longer today, but hopefully you can follow more of what I'm doing. So let me know. I think this one's coming out about 18-19 minutes. I think this video is going to end up being. So let me know what you think, if that's too long, too short. I think they're normally more like 10-15 minutes. So let me know. I'd love a bit of feedback on that. And I'm just tying off the string at the bottom, so just looping it through and doing a double knot and just snipping the threads. And I don't mind leaving those loose in the middle. Sometimes I'll put like washi over it, but this time I'm just going to leave it loose. I don't mind how that looks. So now I'm onto the tabs, which if anyone's watched my videos before will know that this is where I usually struggle. So these things can be a bit of a pain, but I think I've nailed it. This month I absolutely had no problem. It was awesome. So I always pick 5. You get 6 in the die cuts, and I just pick 5 to go down the edge. And I decide that green one is the colour doesn't match as well as the others. So I'm going to put that to one side and I'll use it in the dory instead, usually for a tip-in or something. So now I'm just playing around with how I want them and what order I want them in. As you can see, there's kind of some florals and there's some spotty ones, and also the colour's slightly different on one side of the tab to the other. Like that one with the yellow and pink hearts on it's quite bright on one side and quite pastel on the other. So I'm just playing around with what order I want them in. I quite like this, but then the 2 spotty ones are together at the bottom, so I move it, and then the 2 bright ones are together at the top, so I want those kind of splitting out as well. So I just play around and try and split up the spots and the brights and the pastels so that it's kind of an even spread right across them, and decide that this is the order that I quite like them in. So that's what I'm going to go with. And then I just look at the tab stickers and see which ones I want to use. And there's a couple that I always use the same. So the first one I always do hello and whatever the month is. So it's hello February now. And then I'll do a daily to do. And normally then I do a meal plan, but I've mixed it up a bit this month. In fact, a lot of the things that I normally do in my dory I haven't this month. I've just done something different instead. I fancy trying something new. So I'm putting the first couple of tabs on. Like I said, the Hello February and Daily To Do. And then the other 3 sections, I don't want to do a meal plan this month. I'm going to do something different in the middle spread. And then the back 2, the second to last section I use as a bit of a daily diary or a journal, and there's not a tab for that. So I'm just using one of those blank ones and I'll fill it on myself. And the same, the last spread is usually like a reflections of the month and scrapbooking type page, and there's not a tab for that. So again, I've just used one of the blank ones in there as well. And now I'm just going over everything with my bone folder. Just because I've stitched it, it kind of wants to pop up open a little bit. And these tabs as well, I'm just using the bone folder just to really press them down to make sure they're well stuck. I've noticed on some of my older dories, the tabs are coming off a little bit and lifting. So I'm going to try and resolve that this time. And I've got this really wide double-sided and the skinny one. But they're not very sticky. And like I said, some of my old tabs are now lifting. So I decided instead I'm going to use some wet glue. And actually that seems to solve the other problems I have with the tab, because I struggle to line these up every time I do these videos. If you've watched my videos before, you'll know how much I fight with these tabs to line them up. And the wet glue helps because obviously when you put it down, you can move it a little bit for a few seconds. You can slide it around and get it right in the right spot. So I'm just looking now. I'm going to put that one on the top. I usually put it on the second page in, but I didn't want to cover up that little bit of gorgeous writing that's on the dory. So I'm going to put it on the very first page. And the first tab's pretty easy because you can line it up with that top corner. Although the tab's round and the corner's poking through, so I'll just snip that off and just round it off. I think wet glue's the way to go. I think that's how I'm going to do it in future. And then normally I do the bottom tab next, but you'll see in a second I put this wet glue on and then kind of open the page where it's going to stick, and it doesn't really work. So I'm just flicking through now to find where it normally goes on, and it would normally go on that page. But I don't want to cover up that gorgeous pattern. I really don't want to at all. And then I decide that actually it doesn't need a tab for the back page. It really doesn't. So like I said, I just do a scrapbooking page. It's not something I need to refer to quickly. I know it's going to be the last spread. I don't need a tab to get me to the back page. So I decide I'm just going to do 4 tabs this month. But that means I can't line anything up, which is annoying. So I'm going to have to line up the second one based on the first one, if that makes sense. So I'm just putting that in where it goes. And that goes on the page I would normally put my first one on, but because it's lower down, it doesn't cover up that gorgeous writing. You will see in a minute. There you go. So there's a beautiful little quote at the top of the page there that's now not covered up because the spots are lower down. So that works really well. And you can see I'm just sliding it around a little bit because I've got the wet glue. So I've got a few seconds to actually get it right in the right location. So that's working really well. So I think I'm going to stick to that in future. And this is going to be the middle spread. So again, just lining it up using the wet glue. And I think this time I'm going to do, instead of a meal plan, because what I've noticed is I've gone back recently and looked through some of my old dories. I really like looking back on them. I've done these for 6 or 7 months now, started last summer. So I've got some really lovely memories to look back on. But I skip over the middle page. I don't care about the meal plan page. I just skip over it. The daily to-dos I look at because it's quite fun to see what meetings I had and who I was having lunch with and what was going on. And I don't bother with the middle page. I'm not really interested in looking back on it, on what I ate. I don't really mind. So when I've gone out for a meal with something, that's in my journaling and in my daily pages. So the big meals are in there. I'm really not bothered about the rest. So what I'm going to do is, at the moment, I'm really trying to work on my yoga and my meditation. So I'm going to use that middle page to kind of record that, but I really don't want it to be a goal setting page. I don't want to, that's not what I'm trying to achieve. I don't want to do, an hour of yoga every day or whatever. That's just too much. I want to focus on why I'm doing it and kind of looking towards my health, and more of a kind of motivation page, if you like, and recording my journey and what I'm enjoying and what I'm doing and which yoga sessions I'm doing, what I've tried. So that type of thing. So it's more of a motivation and reflections than goal setting type of page. So that's what I'm hoping to achieve. I might even do it, quite art journally and have kind of quotes about yoga or magazine cuttings in there, a bit of a junk journal type page or vision board type approach to it. So that's what I'm going to do. I think I'll try and do that each month, and maybe my goals will change. Maybe the quote I want to use and the motivation that I need changes. And I think that will be more fun to look back on and see where I was in that journey. Because that's definitely something that long term is important to me. I want to eventually become a yoga teacher, and it's just, I think, to track that journey will be really fun to look back on. So that's what I'm going to do. So I've finished rambling now and to go back to actually telling you what I'm up to. So I'm just going through and doing my daily to-do pages, and I use these divided gridded pages for this. And I'm just dividing the last box so that I can get a week on a page, because there's 6 boxes. So, and obviously I want to get 7. So I just divide the last one with the washi, and I just alternate because I get 2 washes because I get the planner kit and the planner add-on. So I get 2 washes, so I just alternate them between, but you could use anything that you wanted. And then I just use these gorgeous little flag stickers to mark out the days. And for some reason this month, I was kind of struggling to get them off the paper. They didn't want to peel off. I don't know if I just got a dodgy batch or something, but I was really struggling to get them off without ripping them. It was like the sticky bit wanted to stay on the page and the paper bit wanted to rip off. It was just really annoying. but managed it in the end. And I absolutely love these little flags. They're so cute. And then they've got these little like house shapes with the days of the week that fit in there as well. And they're really sweet. And I just started, I think February started on a Thursday. So I've got the left-hand side of that first spread free. So that worked out well. And I'm just double checking the dates and making sure that I have put the right date on the right day. So I can start that Monday from there, which was was it the 5th? Yeah, Monday the 5th. So I'm just going through adding all these gorgeous little flags. And again, this is something that I usually cut out in my videos, but I've left it in so you can see exactly what I'm doing. And I don't mind where the flags go. So that one's gone on the other side so that it doesn't interfere with those gorgeous florals. I'm just lining up the others. So I put them in a different place on each spread, just depending on what else is going on the page, really. So now I'm up to Valentine's week, which worked out well because the 14th is on the Wednesday, which is the bottom left hand corner, and that's the one with all those gorgeous love hearts on, so that worked out quite well. It's almost like they did that on purpose, which I loved. But I had a good look through the kit and there's not really any Valentine's sayings or themes. It's a love theme. There's lots of reds and lots of hearts, but I thought there might be some stickers that said, you know, Valentine's Day or My Valentine something. There's one which says Happy Valentine's Day. But I want to, if I do a scrapbooking page about what we do on Valentine's Day, I'll probably use that on there. So there wasn't really any extras to add in, which really surprised me. I can understand why. I know there's not everybody's into Valentine's Day, but I've only just got married in October. I'm right in the middle of the newlywed bit and want everything to be Valentine's Day themed. So it didn't go down well with me, that one. So I might have to find more Valentine's Day themed things to add in here, I think. My first married Valentine's Day, I'm going to be full on soppy and over the top and document everything. So I'm pre-warning you now. If you see me on Instagram or on here, it may get a little slushy around the 14th, just so you know. I pre-warned you. Don't say I didn't warn you. So I'm just adding the little houses to this page as well. And like I said, I just love these little flags. They are so, so sweet. And I love how they're all different colours. And I find it helps push me to use other colours when I'm doing the spread. So you can see where the 15th flag is, for example, it's green and the 16th is blue. I think that just opens it up a little bit. I think otherwise I would have probably stuck to the pink and red because that's what's mostly on this page when I was doing the layout, whereas that gives me permission to kind of try other colours and add other things in. And I think that really helps when it comes to actually doing the pages and actually playing around with them. It just gives me a few more options. And you can see on this page as well, there's this gorgeous, it's almost navy blue at the bottom, that big stripe going across. And the washi tape that I've used to divide that last box has got green and blue hearts in. The blue in that is just stunning. I absolutely love it. And even though I'm slushy and soppy and all loved up, I'm not a pink girly girl at all. So to have this kind of love themed but that isn't bright pink is just perfect for me. So I'm sorry if you can hear the door banging. I've snuck off into the bedroom to film this voiceover in peace and quiet away from the puppies. Chris is downstairs with them in the living room and he must have opened the door or something because they've just come bolting up the stairs and are now scratching at the bedroom door to come in. So sorry if you heard them. I'll send them away. They can disappear. So I'm just filling in the very, very last week, which is just half a week actually. I think the month finishes on the Wednesday. Which is 28th, which is also reveal day. So there's a little sticker as well, a little flag to add in for that. And then I've got that right hand side of the spread free as well, so I can do something extra on there. I'm going to have to get creative this month because it's such a short month. So I'm going to have extra pages to use, so that's going to be awesome. Definitely going to get my paints out, I think, and get messy. I've joined Get Messy, actually. If anyone else is into Get Messy and is a Messian, I'd love to chat to you because I don't really know what I'm doing, to be honest. Anyone who hasn't heard of it, it's an art journaling community. So I'm hoping to get really kind of back into my art journaling. So I'm hoping to incorporate that into my Daisy Dori as well, just as extra practice, really. So I'm on this middle spread now, and like I said, I want to use this for my yoga pages. So I found this gorgeous dashboard in the kit which says, be so happy that when other people see you, they feel happy too. And I thought that was just perfect because like I said, I don't want this to be about goal setting. I want this to be about how I feel and why I'm doing my yoga and what I get out of it. And happiness is one of the things that I get out of it. And it also changes my mood and makes me nicer to be around for everyone else as well, which is always a bonus. So I use that as a tip in. Like I said, I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to use this page yet, but I knew I wanted a tip in and some extra space. So I'm just using that and this gorgeous heart washi just to fix that in. And then I yeah, I don't know whether it's going to be quotes or writing or whether it's a daily thing. I'm not sure. I will share it with you when I play around with it though, and let you know how I get on with it. So I'm just looking through the stickers, and I found this gorgeous one which says start every day with a grateful heart. And I thought that was perfect because I do my yoga in the mornings, and that's why, so that I can start the day with a happy heart and in a good mood, basically. And then there was a little sticker that said goals, so I have put that on there. But like I said, the goal isn't the time or the intensity or anything like that. The goal is to feel better about myself and kind of go on this journey and explore yoga in much more depth than I've done before. So that's what I want to do with that. And like I said, I'll share it with you and let you know how I get on and what I decide to actually do on the layout. So the last section of the Dori I use as my journal, and this is something that I'm really loving. I used to journal a lot when I was younger, and then I kind of got out of the habit of it, and since I've been doing the Daisy Doris, I've really got back into daily journaling. And I have to say, when I started I didn't know what to write some days, and if I've had a day where I've just been to work, come home, chilled on the sofa and gone to bed, there's not a lot to say, but I used to just think of something I was grateful of, even if it wasn't something that happened that day. I might talk about how, oh, the puppies were really funny today. I love having the puppies because of this. That's a bad, it's just an example, but I would then talk about something else or something I was grateful for, or one of my hopes or dreams, or, when it gets sunny weather, I'll take the puppies out, that type of thing. So it wasn't always just about what happened on that day. It was just my thoughts for the day and what I was thinking and what I was planning on, what I was reflecting on, anything like that. And now it's got to the point that I actually struggle to fit my writing in these boxes. Because I do that, because I write what I did during the day, but also my plans, my hopes, my dreams, all that sort of stuff, I probably need 5 times the space. So that's been really, really fun. I've really enjoyed that kind of developing that habit. And it's something, again, that I love going back and reading my journaling. So I'm just having a look now and doing the front cover. And there's always, in the dashboards kit, there's always one of them that has the month on. So there's this gorgeous February, and it's got Simon this month, which is a little bonus. So I'm going to put him on the front, and I'm just going to put some washi on the bottom just to almost rest the card on, kind of stand it on. And again, the washi is just stunning, so why not? So I'm just putting that down as a little stripe across the bottom. And then I realised that I'd forgotten to put washi down the spine of the book, which I usually do after I've stitched it. And it's not so much about covering the stitching, because I don't mind the stitching. It's more just because I like the way it looks on the shelf. All these lined up, I can see on the spines what month it is. I can recognise the kit and recognise the patterns and things. So it reminds me which month that was. So that's why I do it. And then I'm just using a bit of the other washi as well, just to create a little ledge at the bottom too. And also I found that the washi doesn't stick very well. So what I've done this month is I've gone back, and I've actually gone back to all my old Doris, and I've added a layer, there you go, it's come up already. I've added a layer of matte Mod Podge across the top of everything, just to seal it all in, and I found that's worked really well. So, and it's completely clear, you can't even tell it's there. So just adding tons of double-sided tape to this card just to keep it kind of stuck down. I know a lot of people cover the whole Dori and kind of the papers and the patterns and the washi and things, but I really like seeing the craft poking through, so that's how I do mine. So I'm just making it really simple and just putting this dashboard and some washi down, and that's it. That's my spread done. So I really hope you enjoyed the video this month, guys. I can't wait to share with you some of my ideas for inside as well and what I get up to. If you've enjoyed the video, I'd love a thumbs up, and please hit subscribe. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye!